Hey everyone, SunTide here. And did you know that the skill Fortify activates even if you don't have the skill when you card? So for those who don't know, what Fortify should do is it boosts your attack and defense after you card the first time and the second time by a pretty significant amount. And so right now I have 232 raw attack. If I swap to a build that doesn't have Fortify, so my clear build that has no armor, nothing, I have some low attack value of 106. If I hit my two luckily placed mega barrel bombs right over here, I should be able to cart. So, okay, that time I was apparently too far away, so let's try that again. There's the one barrel bomb, here's the second barrel bomb. And so when I do this, nothing will happen. Let's fast forward a bit. So right now I have 106 attack, as expected, nothing happened. But when I swap to my Fortify build, you can see that my attack is going to go way up to 254. I got a massive attack bonus after I carded without the skill Fortify, so long as I switch to a build that does have the skill Fortify. Which is absolutely crazy. So what that means basically is that you can create a normal attack build, a normal raw build like you would normally use, and then whenever you card, it becomes optimal to switch to a different build that has the skill Fortify, because you get this massive 10% raw bonus for free. 10% raw and 15% defense. And then if you ever card again, you get another 10% bonus, which stacks multiplicatively with the initial bonus. So together you get a massive 21% attack bonus and 32% defense bonus, which is crazy. Because of that, it becomes optimal to have a sort of backup Fortify build, so that whenever you card, you just swap and get this massive attack bonus for free for the rest of your hunt. So because of that, I wanted to get through some Fortify builds today. So again, you want these in your back row just in case you ever card. And so to get the skill Fortify, you actually have quite a few options. So you can use Kongala, Blangonga, Doshaguma, Ajarikan, Arc Build, Mizitsune, or Mimifaita alpha parts. Of these, the best are probably going to be Blango, Arc Build, and Mizitsune. The problem is you're going to have to use alpha parts, which are generally significantly worse than beta parts, but you still have three options. You still only need 3 pieces, and because of that, you can use 2 other pieces to get another good set bonus. Things like Black Eclipse from the Gore Magala, or Scorcher 1 from Rathalos. In addition to that, because Blango sets are an option, you can use the set bonus Warcry from Blangonga, which is actually pretty good. So what Warcry does is when you do an emote, you actually just get free +3 attack for like 3 minutes or so. So right now I'm on 254. If I use to victory, I get 257 attack, and that's another 1% attack bonus, which really pushes these builds like above everything else by far. So yeah, because of that, I just want to go through 4 main builds today. I thought there would be way more, but it turns out because you're using 3 specific alpha pieces, you lose a lot of your flexibility, but all of these become more effective than non-Fortify sets. So the 4 sets we're going through are a base max raw set, one that has more points in Counterstrike to get to Counterstrike 3, one that uses Scorcher 1, which is very good for Shia weapons, and one that uses no max smite but Adrenaline Rush, which is really good for things like the dual blades. So on screen right now should be your good general high damage Gore Magala set. So this is sort of our baseline, and you can see we have the Gore Magala helm and the Gore Magala coil beta pieces. That way we get Black Eclipse 1, which gives us a really nice affinity bonus from the Frenzy Virus. In addition to that, we use the Blango Melee Alpha, the Blango Greaves Alpha, and the Arc Vulcan Van Braces Alpha. That way we can get Fortify for that sweet bonus after we cart. We also managed to get the skill Warcry 1 from our 2 Blango pieces, and we managed to fit in quite a few different good offensive skills. So for example, we get Agitator 5, which is very nice, and 3 points of Max Might, and 3 points of Antivirus. We also still managed to fit 1 point of Weakness Exploit and 1 point of Burst. So this set is a really good baseline for a lot of different weapons. If you want to put in more offensive skills on your weapon, like Offensive Guard, for example if you play the Lance, get rid of Critical Eye 3 for that. Of course, you can get rid of Razor Sharp 3 and Handicraft 1 if you think you don't need any more sharpness. In this case, you want to put in Critical Boost 3 to make sure you get Crit Boost 5, which is very nice. So the second set we'll cover is this one. So this set still uses Black Eclipse 1 from the Gore Magala pieces, but different to the last one, it gets Counterstrike 3 from the Talisman, so it becomes a bit stronger than the previous one if Counterstrike is active more than half the time. You also get one free 1 slot, which is very important. If you play the longsword, you can use that free 1 slot and you swap out 2 of your antivirus decorations to get Quick Sheathe 3, which is very nice. The other weapons may still want this for Counterstrike, of course, and like before, you can swap out Critical Eye or your Razor Sharp decoration for other decorations as you wish. Now, both this build and the last build, and I think the rest of the builds we're going to talk about today, has Warcry 1 from the 2 Blanco pieces. So make sure you do your 2 victory emote to get your attack that way. However, if you do really want to use the Shia weapon, this is an alternative Shia weapon specific build. So this one uses Scorcher 1 for some very strong Whiteflame Torrent procs. So this is going to be used if the monster is slightly weak to fire and pretty weak to dragon. Very similar to the previous ones, but we're using the Guardian Rathalos pieces to get Scorcher 1, and therefore no longer become reliant on Frenzy. Again, like whenever else we want to use Shia weapons, crit boost 2, attack boost 1 is optimal. Your affinity is just too low to have crit boost 3 become optimal, and attack boost 1 is pretty good. 3 raw at level 1 compared to 2 more raws at level 2 and 3. So yeah, this is a pretty good build as well. And you have 4 free 1 slots, which is very nice. So if you play the longsword, you can use this one without sacrificing more points of antivirus in case, because we aren't using the Gore Megala set. The final build we're going to cover today is this one. So this one is Adrenaline Rush and doesn't use Max Might. So use this if you use something like the Dual Blades, who dodges a lot and can't use Max Might properly. So this one uses the Gore Helm and the Gore Greaves, along with the Mizitsune Coil, the Blanco Mail, and the Blanco Vat Braces to get Fortify, Black Eclipse, and Warcry 1. And a whole bunch of really good skills. So we managed to get Adrenaline Rush up to 4, which is very nice, along with 3 points of Counterstrike, 3 points of Antivirus, 2 points of Agitator, a lot of really good high damage skills that don't need Max Might. Your affinity is going to be very low here, so attack boost 5 is going to be on your weapon, if you can fit that in. Of course, again, feel free to change that up per what you wish. But yeah, your affinity will be very low, but it's still going to be pretty good regardless, and it's still going to be better than non-Fortify builds after you cart. So quick summary conclusions. Fortify is optimal so long as you have carted once previously. You can use your normal raw build or your normal damage build, cart, and then swap to this build, or you can even use your blank build like I did at the beginning of the video, cart from Mega Barrel Bombs, and then swap to this build to get your high damage. To get Fortify, some combination of Blanco, Mizitsune, and Arcfield are probably optimal. When you do that, you get Fortify fairly efficiently, and you still have 2 free pieces to get another set bonus. So, you can base your ideas off these, or just use these directly, and yeah, have fun with Fortify. With that being said, I can thank all of you again so much for watching, as well as all of my Patreon supporters, especially Jack Bingham and Lumavolt, who are in my highest Patreon tier. Feel free to join them, like, subscribe, comment, and whatever else, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.